My very earliest influence was, of course, growing up watching horror and science fiction films. I wanted to make monsters. I wanted to make myself into a monster. I really wanted to do that kind of stuff. So I set out to find out how that stuff was done. When I was in college, I ran into another artist named Doug Jones, and he was doing a painting of the Metaluna mutant. It's hard to say, from This on Earth. And I went over and talked to him. I said, you know, I love this stuff too. I went to his house. He was doing all kinds of sculptures on life masks. And one of the things he was doing was an ape. And that's kind of where it all started, because, you know, I learned how to make a life mask, and I recreated the Planet Apes makeup on myself. I got pretty good at doing prosthetics. I learned how to work a foam rubber. And then I came to Hollywood and met Joe Belasco at first. Got involved with Howard Smith, the makeup union, ended up working on the Planet Apes TV show for a few days, ended up working for Joe Belasco for a while, and eventually that led to me meeting Rick Baker. And Rick was really the gateway for my career. Where Larry Cohen first came into the picture was through Rick Baker. Now, when I first met Rick, I met John Landis through Rick, and Bob Burns, and all kinds of great people, Dave Allen. And Rick hadn't quite hit the A-list yet for motion pictures, but he was starting to, and he was getting bigger jobs. And he had done It's Alive for Larry, and of course, Larry called him up, wanted him to do some more work for him, but he couldn't do it because he had a bigger show to do. So he said, I gave your name to Larry, you gotta contact him. He needs some prosthetic work or some kind of piece done for a movie that he was doing. Of course, that was God Told Me To. So that's how I first met Larry. It was pretty simple because it was really kind of almost a trial kind of job, because I was very green, very new.
No! No!
What he needed was this part of a human torso with this orifice in the side of the stomach, I remember. And what I ended up doing was making an alginate on my own chest, and I remember doing it on myself. And then the plaster bandage guys, because I could see myself. I just laid in my kitchen and I made a cast. And then I used paraffin-based clay, I think it was called Leisure Craft. You melt it on a stove and you slop it into the alginate, and then you back it up with some plaster, and you pull out this very realistic body cast. And then I re-sculpted in the opening on the side, and then made it out of, I think, foam rubber. Larry shot what he needed to shoot, and he was happy with it, and that was it. And he said, I'll call you again, and by God, he did. I got to work with some really interesting people. I mean, Broderick Crawford, amazing. We had to do a hairpiece for him, I believe. The first thing I did was go to his apartment and meet him and make a casting of his head, you know. And that was a really wonderful thing about the time that I came into this business, is that so many people from what I call the golden era of Hollywood were still working. We're still in the business, like John Chambers, you know, did Planet of the Apes, who I got to know and work with, and so many great actors and actresses that people today will, you know, never have a chance of working with them. I did Full Moon High with Adam Arkin, who's an incredible actor. At that point, I can't remember if I had worked on The Howling or not, because I was friends with Rob Bottin, but with American Werewolf of London and The Howling, werewolves are being pushed pretty far past what we originally knew them for, which was Lon Chaney and some of the other stuff. So I was really glad to do that, to do a real sort of basic, classic werewolf. This stuff. I was involved in almost every aspect of that and on location. We were on location in New York. It was a hard shoot. There was a lot of effects that we had to do, and I worked with my buddy Rick Stratton, because Rick and I worked together a lot. If he got a show, he'd get me on the show. If I had a show, I'd get him on the show. And we did that all through our careers. It was a hard shoot, because it was a lot of pages to shoot every day, a lot of effects that had to work right. My old friend Ed French did Doberman Pinscher head for that I remember. But Rick and I did all the creature stuff that was in it, which really wasn't creatures at all. We had to make foam rubber look like the stuff. We had to make the heads of Garrett Morris. I have a photograph of me on the sound stage with my arm up inside of his head, and the creature coming out of his mouth. Well, I call it a creature because the foam puppet that I made for the stuff coming out of his stretched out head, if you look at it, actually has an evil face on it. All that stuff with Garrett's head expanding and attracting and the stuff coming out, that was all done at Dave Allen Studios after the shoot was completed. So I was involved in the post-production as well. I did Island of the Alive, and Return to Salem's Lot. I did a number of movies for the guy, and working with him as a director. Larry's very hard driving. Larry wants what he wants when he wants it. But I'm not, I don't have a problem with that. I've worked with plenty of directors that way. I mean, Ivan Reitman's like that on the Ghostbusters. It's their show. I do what they ask me to do. They're paying me, and I just kept business. Larry can be a little tough to work for at times, but we always maintained a good friendship, a healthy friendship. And once the cameras were turned off and the lights went off, and we went back to the hotel and went to dinner and stuff. He was terrific. I got so busy doing so many other films, I can't remember if he called me to do something else or not, or if Larry just simply after that didn't do any more pictures on his own. I know he has always been a creator of TV shows, writes screenplays. I mean, he did, I think it was Phone Booth, which was excellent. And I remember I saw the film, and because I've always had his number, I've always had his personal number. I just called him up and said, "Larry, that was great. Oh, you liked it?" I said, "Yeah, it was really, really good." He's an excellent writer, Larry. I think he's very, very creative. We didn't really lose touch, but I got really kind of involved in my career deeply at that point. It was really taking off, and I was doing a lot of other pictures. So, I didn't work on another film for him. Although we just spoke the other day, and he said, "Maybe we can work again." I would really like that because he gave me a lot of chances, just like Roger Corman, because I was working for the both of them kind of in that same period of time, and both of them would give you a chance to prove yourself, to do the best work you can do, and they were also very reliable about paying you, which wasn't always typical with independently made pictures at that time. Larry was always very, very good about that. Larry exposed me to all kinds of wonderful actors and actresses and amazing people in the industry that I admired growing up as a teenager, as a child, watching those movies, and then to actually work with and meet those people was fantastic. Money can't buy it. Thanks, Larry.